In the yellow, the number 1 seeds from Sweden, David Ahman and Jonathan Hellvig, on a meteoric rise to the top of the game. And they take on a team in white that I don't think many of us thought would make a gold medal final at an Elite 16 event so early. But Stefan Boermans and Jorik de Groot, his defensive partner, have been nothing short of spectacular here in Doha. 2 victories over 1 type of volley Viking. They've beaten Mol and Sorum from Norway twice. Can they down the 2nd set of Vikings in this gold medal final? It certainly started well enough. Simon Golding with you for this one, and alongside me our Volleyball World Beach Pro Tour expert Travis Muherter. Travis, sparkling start from the Dutch, who are the informed team it looks like right now.
You can't ask for a better start than that. Easy, clean side out, and then Jorik de Groot making a nice scoop, and then Boermans running it down. Now, one thing to keep an eye on in this match is the fatigue of Stefan Boermans. Now, when they played one another at the World Championships, I ended up running into Boermans after, and he could barely stand because of the 61 serves that Sweden hit against them in Mexico, 55 went the way of Stefan Boermans. So Sweden is just going to try to wear him down and wear him down and wear him down some more.
Smooth from de Groot. Got a good jump, got a fast arm. He's got an incredible brain when it comes to finding the sand. But he's got a decent serve as well. He'll be hoping to bring that to the party. And what a start. Boermans passing up any idea of tracking Ahman on the option and just staying on Hellvig for the kill.
Best blocker in the tournament. Watch this fundamental move. Just a nice shuffle, clamping the line. It's beautiful.
Makes his way to the net again. Not really that interested in what Ahman wants to do. And Ahman's battered it into the net tape. Netherlands go 5-1. And this is an early shock for the Swedish duo, who call a timeout after just 6 points. Go figure.
And we've seen that's the exact sort of tap block that I was mentioning earlier with Boermans, where he was basically standing and got on his tiptoes, and it was in the face of Ahman, taking away that sharp angle. Even had Ahman hit that swing over the net, it would have come right back down to him. And what Boermans just did is something we're seeing a lot more, is that a lot of blockers are just abandoning the option of both Hellvig and Ahman, and they're just sticking with the 3rd contact, leaving it as a one-on-one between option player and defender. And you can't argue it right now, as the Netherlands off to a 5-1 start off the backs of just a formidable defense that no team has been able to figure out yet.
What we know we're going to get from the team in yellow, though, is continuous drive. Despite that shank pass, they're not going to back away from the way they play, from their system, from their style. So at some point, they'll get it rolling. At some point, Boermans and de Groot are going to have to counteract that. But for the moment, Travis, the first set's in the bag for the Dutch.
Well, it's 6-1. Even if it were 16-11, I would say Sweden can always come back. But look at the Netherlands, again, just charging out.
Out. Good leave from Jorik de Groot. Now, what all the pros will know is Paolo Nicolai in your picture, Olympic medalist from Rio. Just out of luck with the Italian partnership with Samuele Godofava here in Doha, but we'll see them feature at some stage, I'm sure. But what the Dutch will know is that this isn't really the match, Travis. This isn't the match. The match will be starting soon. We'll just wait and see.
The ambidextrous nature of Jonathan Hellvig is so amazing, where he has that left-handed poke to the open space and has it virtually on command.
Love that little round of applause from Stefan Boermans. This is the happiest I've seen him look on a volleyball court since the return of his erstwhile partner, Jorik de Groot. Let's be honest, it's a great name, isn't it, Jorik? I love it. Alas, poor Jorik and all that.
There's some of the best vibes I've seen from any player in beach volleyball is actually from Boermans at the Nijmegen one-star back when it was a one-star system, and he was just playing with an up-and-coming talent in the Dutch Federation. And as a young talent, super nervous to be playing with Boermans, and it didn't matter. The kid could have hit it 30 feet out of bounds, and Boermans would have been clapping and telling him what a good effort it was. He's just one of the best partners you can have.
Just double-checking the hand signal from his partner. Another good deep serve. Oh, it's just huge. And they're doing all the right things here at the moment. They're pushing Sweden to the baseline and then just applying the basics with precision.
And just another super simple, fundamental block from Boermans. Just a little shuffle into the angle, flat, big press over the net, easy block.
At last, David Ahman manages to put an option swing away.
And that's one of the first clean kills we've seen from Sweden, but it requires a heroic option. That was just blasted from David Ahman, which is nothing unusual from Sweden, and maybe just getting one clean side out. That's going to be the key that sort of unlocks them in this little funk we're seeing.
Tester for de Groot. Wow. I mean, how good does he look right now?
He's looked, this is the best I've seen him play in a tournament. And that's why they're here. That's why they beat Norway twice in the same tournament. That's why they've only dropped a single set, because he's coming out. It's his aggressiveness and his energy that I haven't seen anything like this from de Groot before.
There you go. There's that classic example of Boermans turning straight back to his partner to celebrate. Slightly fluky. They'll take it. Sweden must be wondering what on earth is going on right now. Goodness me. Well, like I said, this is not the real game. I think we can forget this first set, and we're going to be getting things underway in set two. That's when the Dutch know they're going to have to play for their medal. 13-4. Do not adjust whichever device you're watching us on. That graphic is right, and that was nearly another throwdown.
Just such a puzzler, and you can feel the energy just taken out of the place, and this is where it's going to be important for the Netherlands to keep the energy high, to keep the momentum going, because it's easy just to get really flat when you have a lead such as this.
On it, Ahman has made a touch at last and clips it over the top of the block, and this is what I was talking about where Sweden are concerned. They're not going to back off. They've got a way that they play, and they're going to play that way.
Now, we've seen bigger comebacks in this tournament. The very first match of the tournament, Boermans and de Groot's countrymen Matthew Immers and Steven van de Velde came back from down 16-7 and didn't even need extra points to win it.
Few touches starting to happen now for Sweden, but the lead is such for the Netherlands that it's going to be something of a miracle for them to find a way back in here, Sweden. Oh, well, that's one way to get round the Boermans effect.
I thought my eyes were playing a trick on me for a second. It took me a moment to realize what happened. That's a new one. I don't think I've ever seen David Ahman do that. I've seen Miles Partain do it perhaps more than anyone in the world. As if Sweden needed another trick, Simon.
But basically, Saturday morning practice amongst your mates, that's one way to start a fight.
And their coaches, Anders Eriksson and Razzie Johnson, they actually they'll put constraints on the players a lot. We're in their federation. They'll have them play a full game where they have to go over hand setting on two. And so that's something that they train. This is a skill that they practice and hone. And that's something that he did that automatically without thinking, because he's done it hundreds of times in practice before.
My favourite part of that play was Boermans turning away and watching the ball land and laughing. He knew he'd been done.
Sometimes that's all you can do. You just have to tip the, in this case, proverbial cap, have a smile, understand that you're still up 7, and you're making them do things like that to score.
Oh, what a block. A monster block from Jonathan Hellvig. At last, he's got hands on Jorik de Groot.
What a huge press that was from Hellvig.
It's out. It's out from David Ahman, and a little bit of frustration from the Swedish defender.
And the Netherlands, they can't expect Sweden to continue playing this poorly, where I've never seen this volume of errors from this Swedish team. They're going to come back at some point, and Boermans, he doesn't need errors. Gets another block.
This is stunning. 16-8. Netherlands lead the #1 seeds. Another little trickle off the net. Another great touch from Boermans. And this is a blocking masterclass, Travis. This is scary statistics from the man at the net.
And again, Boermans doesn't even need to jump to get that. It's just a little tap, reach with the right, swat straight down. Such smart blocking from Boermans, and he's giving Ahman and Hellvig zero answers. They're trying everything. They're setting over the net. They're doing their option stuff. They're jump setting. The defense from Boermans and Groot has been spectacular.
Early call, definite call for Jorik de Groot, and he manages to work the Hellvig block. And Netherlands are coasting their way to a lead in this gold medal final. Everything is working for the Netherlands. That's ridiculous. Oh dear. What a play from the Dutch. Honestly, everything they are touching at the moment is turning to gold.
How in the world does Jorik de Groot make a dig?
Don't ask me. I'm watching it and I don't know. This is unbelievable.
What? That was insane. As if anything couldn't be going more right for the Netherlands. De Groot makes a dig on a straight down open net poke from Ahman and makes a play out of it.
Down it goes. Sweden do make double figures. Only just.
Must we invoke our first potential theorem of the year, Simon? The rule being, if you beat a team worse than 21-12, the second set almost always goes the way of the team that lost, because it can't. Once you hit rock bottom, you can only go up from there, and this is absolute rock bottom right now for Sweden.
It was exactly the time to roll out Professor Brunner's theory. Well, the Netherlands have played an absolute blinder in this opening set. 9 set points against Sweden. But like I said, I think we can forget set 1. The real gold medal match starts when these guys come back to the court. 21-11. The Netherlands have just battered the #1 seeds. They lead the gold medal final by a set to 0.
That was one of the most bizarre sets of beach volleyball. Easily the most bizarre I've seen from Sweden, but one of the more bizarre ones I've seen in the gold medal match. Now, that's why we have 3 sets. We've seen odd matches before. We saw a seesaw in the women's quarterfinals between Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes and Nina Brunner and Tanya Hubley, where Switzerland walked all over the Americans in the first 21-13, and then it flipped to a 13-21 and a 15-13 win for the Americans. So it's far from over, but 7 errors from Sweden to go along with 4 blocks from Boermans. Those numbers alone gave the Netherlands more points in total than Sweden had.
I think we're all in shock. What a start to this gold medal matchup for the #6 seeds, who have been in terrific form, undefeated through to this final. Away we go with set number 2. Surely now this is the start of the gold medal final. In the yellow, David Ahman, And Jonathan Hellvig of Sweden, the #1 seeds, have been put to the sword by the Dutch duo in the white. Stefan Boermans and Jorik de Groot have been unbelievable and continue to be unbelievable. And that celebration from Stefan Boermans, that's a little out of character for him. He is fired up.
As he should be. It's a phenomenal dig from de Groot to start things off. And then Ahman, his first swing in transition was massive with a backward step close. Boermans makes a huge play and then a huge swing in transition. And again, the Netherlands jumping out just as they did in set #1. And the gold medal match, Simon, maybe it just might not start for Sweden.
This is unreal. Well, the Dutch, Travis, doing exactly the right thing here. They're trying to stay on the front foot. They're trying to just replicate what they did in set 1, and they're getting the benefits. Finally, an error from de Groot. He's missed a couple of serves in this game, like that matters. What a wonderful test for Ahman and Hellvig. I don't think Anders Christensen and Razi, their coaches, will be minding this. Let's be honest, if you're going to win a big tournament, if you're going to take an Olympic medal or a World Championship medal, there will be a test you have to pass at some point.
And now is the, if you ever want to get exposed, now's the time to get exposed a little bit. You don't want this to be happening in, say, the quarterfinals of Paris later this summer. You want this to be happening now so you learn how to deal with it. And look at the blocking work of Stefan Boermans. Goodness.
This is incredible. The number of touches that he's making. This is so smooth from the Dutch. 4-1. Oh my goodness me. I'm afraid the Swedish duo are in a whole heap of doo-doo here in Doha.
And just as we saw in the opening set, down 5-1, Sweden taking a timeout, a bit of an emergency timeout again. There's no answers. They're trying everything, and Boermans saying, all right, you got attempts? I got answers for that.
The Canadian silver medalists watching on alongside the Norwegian bronze medalists from the women's and men's draws respectively. Frandi and Melissa alongside Christian and Anders. Nothing to talk about for the Dutch pair.
And you have to, if you're Boermans and de Groot, in your mind, you have to anticipate that Sweden will rediscover the form that has turned them into arguably the best team in the world. Because I've never seen them slump like this ever, let alone in a sustained manner.
It's coming. That's the feeling, isn't it? It's coming. But just how much of an influence on this final can Sweden have? Because even from here, this three-point cushion is still gold dust. This is something the Netherlands can take really deep in set 2.
And that's something that the Netherlands has done a tremendous job of this entire tournament, is limiting other teams' runs. They limited it in 2 matches against Anders and Christian. They held back Sharif and Ahmed, who can get as hot as any team in the world, kept them from going on a run, always sustaining, protecting their leads, not letting the momentum, not letting the energy flip the other way. And this will be the ultimate test, if they can keep their foot on that metaphorical gas pedal.
I cannot believe what I'm watching here. Stefan Boermans has absolutely shut the net down.
And we're seeing a rash of errors from Sweden, which is uncharacteristic, but that is altered because of the presence at the net of Boermans, where nothing's been available. And so they're having to try all these insane, crazy shots like that one, and it's just spiraling out of control. And more, it's just wild what's happening.
De Groot again, not going for his big top spin jump serve, just floating it into play. First time that Stefan Boermans has had a little nibble in the wrong direction.
And I always think whenever we get those shots of the other teams watching in the stands, Anders and Christian and Nikolai and Kodafava, I always wonder, do you think they're watching this match and be like, well, why couldn't Sweden do this against us?
Well, one thing's for certain, this is a game that all the coaches will be keeping on the computer for a look back every time they meet the Swedish pair. Okay, tiny bit of stability returning to Sweden's side-out game after a run of rash errors.
And now, oddly enough, they have to start figuring something out on defense. And I say oddly enough because it's a rare thing when Sweden gets virtually shut out of earning points. But they just haven't been able to figure out any way to stop De Groot or Boermans. They've tried them both. There's just no answers either way.
But when you have this advantage on the scoreboard, your arm swings freely from the service line and in offense. And you can see just how comfortable the Dutch look right now. They don't look pressured at all. That's the calmest man out there right now, Jorik De Groot. Another tricky serve out to the line for Hellvig. Nicely hit. Beautifully done from Sweden, but nothing really happening in their game still to suggest that they can find a way back into this final. Unreal.
One of the many elements of De Groot's game that I love is that if you were to just have a close-up on him up 10 points, and you were to have a close-up of him down 10 points, you wouldn't be able to know based on his body language. He looks the exact same either way, just cool, calm, and collected, and ready to side out or make a play.
Well, it's taken a while, but they've decided they're going to have a look at Stefan Boermans, who passes that so brilliantly. That wasn't the pass of a 6'7" blocker. Very smooth. Back to Ahman. Doesn't really matter who they serve. It's the same outcome. Stefan Boermans has been an absolute wall in this match.
What a read from Boermans. He's been going with the third hit for the most part, but the IQ, you see him tapping his head right there. He knows he made the right play. Whatever he's reading, whatever he's seeing all the right things, but it's one thing to see it. It's another thing to see it and then make the right play and execute, and he's been just about flawless.
Side out brings 14-7 at the technical timeout for the Dutch. And once again, that's the hit of a team that is way up in a game. Well, they've basically got two hands on this gold medal now. I'm not sure how Sweden wrestle it back. There's Cheng and Hughes of the USA sitting the other side of the Norwegian team.
And I wonder if they're wondering, what are the answers? What are we supposed to do? Because it's not as if, Boermans and De Groot are playing extremely well, but they haven't done anything special, I would say. They're just taking advantage of the many mistakes and errors that Sweden has gifted to them. So all the Netherlands really has to do is just play decent volleyball and just wait for Sweden to make mistakes. Now, they play a very high-risk game, and I haven't seen them sort of fall apart from it really since they started coming up on the tour and they were playing in one-stars and futures and getting points. This has been a strange bit of a meltdown in the gold medal match from Sweden.
Well, the speed that they play at also indicates that they like to score quickly. They like things to happen quickly. Nothing's going to happen quickly if they want to win this game. So from here on, it's going to have to be a grind for the team in yellow. And they can't seem to grind anything out of this Dutch duo. And Boermans and De Groot are on their way to gold here in Doha. Well, the whole point of coaching teams, Travis, is that you try and cancel out things like this. You try and make sure you peak at the right times. You try and get that consistency of performance up. But with young players, occasionally this happens.
And again, as I was mentioning earlier, this is the right time for this to happen for Sweden. Now, you never want to lose a gold medal match. Look at Stefan Boermans breaking out of jump.
Oh, my goodness me. Well played, Stefan Boermans.
Just playing free and fast and loose now as Boermans. You love to see the big fella having a little bit of fun out there. First career jump set maybe for Boermans. It was a beauty.
It was nearly a crazy finish to the point as well. Boermans wasn't that far away with the one-handed block, but now Netherlands have got to keep their focus. They are very, very close to a big win. And they just got a little bit closer. Sweden are completely confused down there.
And this will be a big learning moment for Ahman and Hellvig, who their learning trajectory, their improvement has been spectacular in the past couple years. And this will be a good one for them to go back, review what happened, dissect it, because it's just been, their passing's been a little bit off. And I think that they haven't had a blocker alter their performance in what they're trying to do as the way Boermans is doing in a very, very long time. It's been Boermans established himself early, and that's been the cause of a lot of the self-inflicted damage that Sweden's been doing.
Just crazy stuff. There is not one single part of me prior to this gold medal final that would have said, yep, Netherlands to knock Sweden off in under half an hour.
You know, I picked Boermans and de Groot to win, but in my head that would have been a 23-21, 15-13 and 3, not it. Just the demolition derby that this is.
Just unreal. And they cannot get rid of Stefan Boermans. He has hunted them down, and he can't believe it. Unbelievable. This is just a phenomenal performance. The Dutch have 10 gold medal points. One of the quickest games of the tournament, and it's come in the final. And here we go. Boermans is the hero. That is a virtuoso performance from Stefan Boermans. They cannot believe what has just happened. It's gold to the Dutch, and they've